Good morning, Barstow. I'm Susanna.
And I'm Maddie. We have an exciting show with lots of announcements, a plant update, and a new segment with Avisha all after the intro.
Congratulations to our seniors who signed to Collegiate Athletics yesterday. Sage Holmes signed to Rockhurst University for cross country, Briley and Jalen Glenn signed to K-State for basketball, and Kylie Flowers signed to Grand Canyon University for basketball. Congrats to all and good luck in the next coming years. Speaking of collegiate athletes, the volleyball team took a trip to Columbia to see Barstow alum Jill Gillen play against Missouri this past week.
In some more exciting news, Barstow Debate had huge success last weekend at the University of Michigan tournament. Phoebe Browse and Rishi Malay reached the double octafinal round in varsity, and Quinn Luce and Logan Mulligan reached the octafinals for the JV team. Quinn Luce also won 15th place speaker. All 5 novice teams reached the elimination rounds as well. There were over 147 varsity, 35 junior varsity, and 92 novice teams in attendance. Congrats to all.
Wow, that's very impressive. In other news, the virtual book fair is going on in the lower school. November 13th is the last day to order, so make sure to check it out. And if you're looking for any more Barstow merch, don't forget to check out BPA's Spiritwear pop-up store until November 18th.
I will definitely be looking for those items. You know, the other thing I've been looking for is a new houseplant. Let's check in with Nora and see her suggestions.
Hello lovies! Today we'll be taking an even deeper dive into the magical and mystical world of houseplants. It is important to note that fall is officially upon us. Look at my dear neighbour mowing his grass. Oh, young chap. Hello! Hello! He loves me. I've got some fun friends planned out for us today. We're going to take a look at Rhonda, Sarah, and Chelsea, some dear, dear, dear friends of mine. Let's check it out.
Oh, Rhonda, you look so fine. I don't help her, she helps me. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. This girl needs no water, but lots and lots of sun. And let me tell you, she is beautiful. This is Chelsea, and yes, true to her name, she is a KU sorority girl, always going out during the COVID. But look at that growth. I mean, seriously. Yet again, she needs little to no water and lots of sunlight. Also, peep the Brooklyn Arment pot. And this is Sarah, Abrahim's wife, a prophetess. Yeah, she does look a little bit like Shrek's ears, but let's not judge her, okay? And say it with me again. Little to no water, lots and lots of sunlight.
Now that we've met all these new fun friends, you can certainly bring them into your own home during this fall season. Thank you so much for coming to Nora's Epic Houseplants Part 2. See you next time, Barstow.
Thanks, Nora. It's always great to be informed by the Barstow community, whether that be on plants or the election. Avisha has a new segment, Night Vision, to give students the chance to share their expertise. Let's head over to her now.
Welcome to our new segment, Night Vision. I'm Avisha, and this week we're going to talk about politics. First, let's summarize the 2020 election. Joe Biden won the presidency on November 7th, 4 days after Election Day. His vice president-elect, Kamala Harris, marks an important time in history for women and women of color, being the first woman vice president with Black and South Asian heritage. The 2020 election also made U.S. history with its amazing voter turnout, 160 million people who showed up to vote, which is 2/3 of the eligible voter population, and a proportion that we haven't seen in over a century. Although all sources have called the election in favor of Biden, President Trump's refusal to concede the election might be very problematic for the country. I'm sure many of you have heard the term voter fraud, but let's talk about what it actually means. There are a couple of claims about voter fraud. First is absentee ballots. The government is calling for a recount because of claims saying that voters' ballots that were cast before they passed away should not be counted. Michigan government responded by explaining that they have already rejected such ballots. There are other claims being made, like software glitches and ballots written in Sharpie that are being used to justify a recount. All of the states have contested voter fraud claims and proven them wrong, but the Trump administration is asking for a recount in many key states, and the difference between him and Biden has to be 0.25%, which would mean that the citizens would have to pay for the recount. But it was well over that in all of the states that are asking for a recount, which, for example, 0.63% in Wisconsin, which means that the government has to pay for a recount in order for it to happen. To do so, county officials have to complete a canvass, which is a process to ensure that the result on Election Day was accurate. Only after this can they request such a recount. Another important thing to be watching is the Georgia Senate runoff in January. In Georgia, in order to be declared winner, a candidate must receive at least 50% plus one vote. If that doesn't happen, then there's a runoff, which is another chance for voters to cast a ballot in order to determine a winner. The stakes are really high this year as Republicans held a 43-47 majority, but after elections last week, they were tied 48-48 with Democrats. If Republicans hold control in Senate races in Alaska and North Carolina, then the Republican Party will be in control of 50 seats. That means Democrats would have to win both of the seats in Georgia to secure a 50-50 tie in the Senate. Then only would Vice President Kamala Harris be able to cast tie-breaking votes to carry out the Democratic agenda. If they were to lose one, Republicans would maintain their majority. The runoff determines who controls the Senate, so it's really important to watch. Lastly, President Trump fired his Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, who had already been on unsteady ground with the president because he opposed using military troops on U.S. streets. Well, that's all the politics I have for you today. If you have any other topics you would like for us to discuss on this segment, like entertainment news or sports news, please email or DM StoTV. Back to Susanna at the desk.
Thanks for that update, Avisha. And more announcements, the annual kindergarten fall program is today. Parents, check your email for a link to watch their performance. For our middle school performers, a reminder that practices for the musical Alice in Wonderland start November 16th at 5 p.m.
Well, that's all we have for today. I've been Maddie.
And I've been Susanna. Have a great day, Barstow. We'll see you Monday.